Hey guys, this is your boy Banana back with another video. At the time of writing this, only one DLC character got announced for Smash Ultimate. We already know that we'll get at least 4 other ones, but there's pretty much nothing known about him. So I came up with 5 characters that could be DLC. Note that I said could, because despite my username, I can't see into the future. I mainly base my choices on these 3 factors. 1. Whether or not the character's game has been represented already. We already know that every character will come with their own stage and music, so I'm not only looking at new franchises, but also unrepresented games from already represented franchises. 2. Is there potential for a moveset? I think everyone knows about these tweets on Sakurai, but while Nintendo might have chosen the DLC characters themselves, Sakurai probably still had a say in things. Sakurai said in the past that when considering a character, he wants to be able to see them dance in his head. He needs to have a clear picture of how the character would fight, what moves they would use, and what their potential gimmick would be. Even if Nintendo asked Sakurai to add someone like, say, Pauline, he would likely decline because of the lack of moveset potential. And this is just a side note, but I want to put specific characters on the list. This pack will last until 2020, and since Nintendo likes promoting the games, it would have been easy to predict a Gen 8 Pokemon or a Metroid 4 character. And for the record, at the time of writing the script we knew literally nothing about those games, and at the time of me recording this sentence we only know that these are the first evolution starters, and that Metroid 4 is being started over from scratch, which is why I didn't include anyone from those games. And factor 3, personal bias. Basically whether or not I actually want these characters. And you'll see what I mean by that in a second. Yes, I know about Rex's Mii costume. I saw the direct too. But despite what everyone says, I still think Rex has a solid chance. I think a big reason why people already gave up on him is not because of the costume itself, but the way Sakurai was talking about it. He made it sound like this was the best alternative. Perhaps he knew beforehand that Nintendo would choose all the DLC characters themselves, and he wasn't sure whether or not Rex would be one of them. And call me biased all you want, but I'm still convinced Rex has a chance, especially because of Xenoblade Chronicles 2's impressive sales and Sakurai's potential influence. His playstyle could be approached in a lot of different ways. Obviously he has something revolving around working together with his blade Pyra, or maybe even multiple blades, but I'm just not sure in what way. She could give buffs to Rex while standing in the background as a Pokemon trainer, or while following him around like a second ice climber. But the problem with that is that it might complicate things for 8-player Smash. So instead they can add it in for stuff like the special moves and smash attacks, which would appear alongside Rex, like Solace Phantom. I'm just throwing out ideas here, but I'm sure Sakurai could come up with an interesting moveset that would do the characters justice. But I'd be delusional to say that Rex is one of the company's top choices. In fact, I think there's another Xenoblade character that has a slightly bigger chance. Okay, before you go click that dislike button, let me start by saying that no, I don't expect 2 Xenoblade characters to be announced. I think these 2 characters have about an equal chance, but I don't think both will get in, at least not in this same pack. So, Elma, for those who didn't know already, is a character from Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. She is the first character that you as the avatar encounter and is pretty much the main protagonist. She wields dual blades and dual guns, and the class is mostly focused around accuracy and evasion, so I can see her being a rushdown character, kind of like Fox. And I know this must have sounded really random up until now, but hear me out, I actually had a good reason to choose her. The president of Malisoft, Tetsuya Takahashi, said around a year ago that he wants to get exported on the Switch. And since Nintendo helped decide the DLC characters, it only makes sense to promote it like they did with Fire Emblem Fates. Yes, I am mostly basing this choice off of a game that hasn't even been announced yet, but it would just make a lot of sense to add at least one more Xenoblade character. I'm sorry, but you're not gonna tell me they only added 3 songs from 2 and nothing from X.
Wow, Max, you only included 2 Xenoblade characters. That's not biased at all or anything.
Oh, you're funny. Did you really think I'd stop at only 2? Okay, back on the more serious side, I was actually torn on whether or not I wanted to include this guy for a very long time. Literally the only 2 characters I wanted in Smash Ultimate were a Xenoblade 2 character and Bandana Waddle Dee. And seeing as neither of them got in, obviously they were the first characters I thought of for this video. But as time went on, I started to doubt myself. There already are a ton of Kirby stages, and a lot of the modern Kirby music already got added. And when word got out and Nintendo would choose all the DLC characters themselves, I pretty much gave up on all hopes of him getting in. But I think we're all being a bit too pessimistic here. We shouldn't dismiss characters simply because they don't have any games coming up. Even when Sakurai's higher-ups choose the characters, that doesn't mean they all have to be out of left field or to promote upcoming games like Joker. And when I looked at my criteria for a DLC character, I started to wonder where I ever started doubting myself. He seriously has everything laid out for him. He would be the first ever spear user in Smash. You can just take his entire moveset he's had since Kirby's Adventure Wii, add some items associated with his kind, and maybe add some of the elemental stuff from Star Allies, and bam, you have a character. And hey, you need a stage or some music? Well, would you look at that, Star Allies isn't represented yet. Use something from that game. Bring my son home, Nintendo. Because Fire Emblem Free Houses were released this year, I think the chances of Nintendo wanting to promote this game are pretty high. Honestly, I think this is the most likely out of all of my choices on the list, especially because we haven't gotten any Fire Emblem newcomers. Aside from Chrome, I guess. At the moment we don't really know who the protagonist is going to be. Okay, maybe I should change the script. So, originally I put Elgard on here, but moveset wise, any of the 3 lords would have been great choices. Elgard uses both axes and swords, Dimitri would bring lance combat to Smash, and Claude would be the first character to have an entire moveset based around a bow. But I have to admit, the main reason I chose Elgard was that she was a waifu. But then I realized that with Byleth we would get an husbando and a waifu. In all seriousness, while I want Elgard the most, after the latest trailer, I think Byleth would technically be the better choice. I'm not sure what his or her weapon is gonna be like, but it looks like it's gonna be a whip sword, which just sounds really awesome. Just imagine, a character with Mars and Roy's movement and the range of the Belmonts. And combine that with his dark aura power that can apparently rewind time, and I'm starting to doubt whether or not this was a good idea. Okay, I just want to say that I haven't played any games for the following characters, so please keep that in mind while watching. This one is just too obvious. We already have Ravlos, which means they must have gotten the rights to use Monster Hunter characters in the game. Yeah, having a 4th Capcom character might show some bias, but I feel like Monster Hunter really deserves it. It's one of Capcom's most relevant franchises, and almost every game was playable on one of Nintendo's consoles. Alternative skins wouldn't be an issue, since the hunters are not a character that have male and female variants, along with many different armor sets. I can see them having a very read-oriented playstyle, with very slow but punishing moves, using a big variety of weapons. Give them their sword and shield, throwing some great swords and hammers for the smash attacks, and this dance for the taunts, and yeah, that sounds pretty good. I wish I could go more in depth, but because of my lack of experience with the series, I had to cut this part a bit short. But still, I think this character has loads of potential and I'd love to see him getting in. So there you have it, my 5 characters I want as DLC in Smash Ultimate.
Wait, frick, it's only 4 characters.
Great, my computer crashed again!
Okay, now I start to play random music. Wait, I think I know this theme. Isn't this from...
You're no longer safe.
Wait, what? Whoa, wait a minute, how did that thing get in here?
That was all on me.
What? Yasa, what the frick are you doing on my computer? You know I haven't even played Danganronpa, and it doesn't even make sense for a visual novel character to get in. You better start explaining yourself.
Okay, calm down. It's time this list got something a little more unpredictable. Monokuma is the only character I really want to see in Smash, which might sound a little off, but I hope I can explain why. I like to start by putting the image in your head of what Monokuma as a fighter could look like. The only way of this panda being a fighter would have to be his punishments, because there is only form of violence throughout the games. Punishments are brutal executions, usually tied to the person being executed, which usually adds to a lot of creative ideas, even though that the end result is rather disturbing. Keep in mind there's 3 games with plenty of these, so the opportunities for different moves are left quite open. And then there's that other game to reference for more moves. The ideal playstyle I could see using all of these executions would be a diversified bait and punish character, which fits into how the murders in Danganronpa take place, truly doing Monokuma justice. I honestly doubt that he would be a heavyweight, so he wouldn't be diversified like K-Rool to create a devastating effect. Even though these punishments are brutal, they're very over the top and kind of cartoony, which would help this murderous teddy bear fit into the game's rating quite nicely. I can only imagine the laughter that people will have when they start to pick him up. Even though I just only finished the first game, I know at the second game, Monokuma's sister shows up and his children show up in the third, so alt skins are perfectly covered. There you go, I made it seem okay for a murderous teddy bear to be in a children's fighting game.
So, can I get my video back now, or
Oh yeah, sure, just keep going.
Now that you may be terrified of this little demon, it's time to get through the more technical part of getting a character, the licensing. This franchise has never been on a Nintendo console, so where's the possibility of this series working with Nintendo? The games have been developed by Spike Chunsoft, and before they made Danganronpa, they developed the Dragon Quest series way back in the 80s, as well as the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon series starting in 2005 going all the way up to 2015. While that may be a little, they've still kept up with Nintendo systems, and just before I scripted this video, I noticed that another one of their visual novels, Steins Gate Elite, is now on Nintendo Switch. Their consistency justifies a healthy relationship with Nintendo, making Monokuma as a Smash character a bit more likely. Also, just to clear things up, Danganronpa is a visual novel series first, not an anime or a manga. Those things came later. I don't support manga characters getting in, and there's a reason I want Monokuma to represent the series rather than one of the other characters, making it seem like anime characters are okay. Get that out of my house! To wrap up my points, Monokuma would be one of the best surprises in Smash, and he would be a representation for visual novels as a genre in the best way possible. His design fits right into Nintendo's world, and he'd be a welcome addition. Is he likely? Who knows? If Nintendo's going to be unexpected with their DLC decisions, then shouldn't we?
Well then, those were our 5 ideas for Smash DLC characters. Yes, do you want to say something else?
If you want to hear more of me, then I've got a YouTube channel for it. I make videos regarding video games and anime, and my next video is in fact on the first Danganronpa. So if you're wondering why I want Monokuma in Smash, maybe that will help you understand. If you're interested in that, like my writing or anything else, then please check out my channel. Thank you for your time.
Wow, gee, what a plug. Man, I wish I got a plug at the end of your video, G-Man!
Hey! You're not trying to reboot your channel from the ground up, you motherfucker!